Welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out, and thanks for tuning in after a Miami Heat victory, 112-103 over the Toronto Raptors. Miami Heat run their record to 12-9, and a very verified effort today from the Miami Heat. They got a lot of help from a lot of different places. And the place you got to start for them was in the first half. It was really a big tale of two halves because, a lot of people freaking out after the first half because, his defense was not in a fantastic place. You gave up 66 points to the Raptors. Everybody's freaking, you got, Bam. What are you going to do defensively without Bam? Not points that I necessarily disagree with, but, I think there is a time with the Heat where they're not going to go full throttle balls to the wall defense at all times. And, in the second half, they held Toronto to under 20 points in both quarters. Caleb Martin was absolutely awesome today. He had 23 first-half points. Only scored one point in the second half, but, was a monster from downtown, had his burst, those classic moves from the baseline that he has, those pretty layups that he's able to switch midair. He just looked absolutely fantastic today. And it's good to see that Caleb is starting to look like himself, especially with Tyler out, especially with Bam out. You're going to need some offensive punch from places on this team. And, it's been a great effort from Jaime Hawkins, but Jaime is a rookie. And you have to think there are going to be, rookie trepidations. There's going to be rookie moments for him. And Caleb was one of your best players in the playoffs last year and certainly in the Eastern Conference Finals. And you got that today. He was on fire from downtown, was in the starting lineup today. Little switch in the starting lineup. They had Kyle, Caleb, Jimmy Dunks, and then Orlando Robinson. We'll get to the Robinson bros here in a bit. But yeah, you're scrounging a little bit. You're putting Jay Richak on the bench. You're trying to work some things through. You're gonna mix that in with the combination of the UCLA boys with Kevin Love and Jaime Hawkins Jr. coming in. But Caleb certainly provided the spark early on, and that was a huge thing for Miami. They were able to get themselves in a good position to start this game off basically because of him, and went out to a 37-32 lead after one. You get to the second quarter, this was the best effort for Toronto, and Miami. Just really, if it wasn't from Caleb Martin, you weren't getting much. Now, I will say, in the first quarter, the one thing I did overlook, Jaime Hawkins Jr., who had, once again, a nice performance today from him, 15 points, just continues to show that confidence, just never rushing anything and never, never being in a bad position. But, I wouldn't say today was one of his most impactful games, but he did have an awesome dunk on Scotty Barnes. It was a Jaime hammer, dude. He went right on top of his head like the chorus to his parody song, and it was a thing of beauty to see off of Scotty Barnes, who got off to a really rough start in this game, did provide a little bit of a late charge there for the Toronto Raptors to make it interesting, but ultimately offense would dry up for them in this performance. The second quarter, like I said, probably the Heat's worst quarter in this game. Not a lot of offense for them. The one they struggled the most defensively as well. The biggest thing I would say of note in this is we did get Nikola Jovic minutes. Not a lot of Nikola Jovic minutes, but we did get Nikola Jovic minutes, which obviously, as the president of the Nikola Jovic fan club, I was very excited about. But it was, once again, a bit of a tough go for Yovi. He was, with his 0-of-1 performance, it was a 3-point shot. So he didn't score. Did get a couple of rebounds, couple fouls in this 3-minute stint, and he did have a travel. So, I get it. A lot of people are going to be rats off a ship off of Jovic. I'm still rooting for him. We did not get Jamal Cain tonight. No Thomas Bryant. But I still want to see, I did like the fact that Spo at least put him out there at the 4. Did put him out there alongside Orlando Robinson and Kevin Love. He put him out there with another big. but still was kind of just roaming out there. We have not seen the comfort level to get the giddy up and go from him. I had some people in my mentions say, "Oh, maybe he just stinks." I don't think he stinks. I am going to. We are going to stand strong here at the Nikola Jovic Resort. We are going to be not cowards, and we will believe that this will turn around at one point for Jovi. Now, all he needs to do tonight is not talk to any Serbian media that is sitting around nefariously trying to get that latest scoop. But that was probably the biggest story out of the second quarter. He'd end up going into the break. They trail 66-64. And then the game really flipped right out of the jump from the third quarter because the Heat went on a 16-0 run to start the third quarter. Toronto didn't score until there was about 5.5 left in the third quarter. And, you really you saw Jimmy start to come alive. They got to the bonus real early so Jimmy could get to the free throw line as well. And this was really where the story of the game also flipped over to the brothers Robinson. Duncan Robinson, Orlando Robinson, they were in sync with one another. Like they really truly were a family tree. It was a beautiful thing to see. Duncan Robinson was, finding Orlando, and vice versa. These guys, we know that Duncan has beautiful chemistry with Bam Adebayo, always has, always will. But his fill-in big man tonight, who shares his last name, they just seem to be on the same page in every way. It was actually funny tonight. Talked a lot of gambling coming into this show of player props. We talked about on the show today, which, by the way, mine did not hit because I had Kyle Lowry. Took a big swing of him hitting the 20 over. I thought he put on a show. He did not. He did not even throw up a lot of shots today. What did Kyle go 1 for 4 today? Yeah. So 3 points for Kyle Lowry today. But I had a buddy of mine who I do tapped out with. Shout out to Sean Levine. And he was like, "Hey, what do you think of Duncan Robinson 4 assists tonight? Is that a stupid bet?" I guess I'm like, I don't think it is a stupid bet. With Bam out, there's a lot of stats to be had. Especially in those margin areas, rebounds, assists, and Duncan Robinson ended up tying. Did he end up tying or did he break? Because he had 7. He finished with 7. Tied for a career high in assists. Flirted with the triple-double today. I think I count that as flirting with the triple. 21, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. In my day, you used to round up if it was over 5. So that's flirting with the triple-double for me if I'm Duncan Robinson. He was absolutely fantastic. He has shown, the growth, the mentality, the leadership. He's just such a good, well-rounded basketball player now, and just so much more than he was when he came into this league for sure. But, he really took it upon himself. He found the weaknesses and the breakdowns in the Toronto Raptors, and he worked that game with Orlando Robinson today to take this puppy home. Did it in the third quarter, did it in the fourth quarter. And, him and Orlando were finding each other. You had Duncan Robinson, put off a 10-0 run to where he had a big-time 3 to put the Heat up 8, 95-87. And then got a beautiful little, ISO dunks. I got this. 1-footer off the glass. Boom, puts the Heat up by double digits and was just looking good, man. That's when Scotty Barnes started his little run. He got the Raptors to within 3. Heat called timeout. They come out of the break. Orlando Robinson with the confidence of a vet, just going into the paint, pretty shot, turn around, nice touch. And then goes to Duncan, wide ass open in the corner. Heat go up 6. And then they have a nice little Robinson to Robinson find. Put them up to keep the lead where it is. Then Duncan Robinson, he's just rim cutting. Gets them up double digits. And that was pretty much all she wrote. Jimmy probably had the real true dagger in this because OG hit a 3. And Jaime Jaquez, late in the shot clock, finds Jimmy Butler. Jumper, that put the Heat up 8. That was about all she wrote for your Miami Heat. But this was, the absolute tale of this game, I would say. Caleb Martin in the first half, the Robinson brothers in the second half. Jimmy was good today. It was not like, it was just your standard solid Jimmy Butler performance, but it was not like he lit the world on fire. He was not, not to say he was bad, but it just wasn't a star performance from Jimmy. It was, like I said, it's one of those where I say Jimmy Butler, he's going to force and will his way to 19 points whenever the hell he wants. That was what today was. But thankfully, you got the punch from Caleb Martin. You got what you needed from Duncan Robinson. Jaime provided what he needed to. You got a nice, from the bench tonight. What'd you get? You got 30 points off the bench tonight between Love, Richardson, and Triple J. So production there. And really everybody in the starting lineup provided a punch other than Kyle Lowry, which, didn't look good from my betting slip, but who gives a rat's ass that he got the win? That's all I really care about, aside from my $10, dude. So this was a nice win. Good to get back into the win column. I thought Miami was able to get themselves in a more defensive mindset in that second half and take care of a pesky Raptors team, a team that has names, not a great team by any means. They're 9-12. It certainly pales in comparison to the in-season tournament. My God, but I don't know what that voice was, but still, OJ Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, just a bunch of pterodactyls, pain in the ass to play, and I got to be honest with you. I don't know who that coach is. He's not Nick Nurse. I know that. I know Nick Nurse now coaches the Sixers. They showed that gentleman a couple of times on the television today on the Bally broadcast, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't know that was the Raptors coach. I still don't know his name, even as it comes to me. I can see his face because I remember it, but I was like, who is that guy? Darko Rajakovic, Serbian. I wonder if he knows Jovi. Does he love Jovic? I don't know." But nice win for the Heat tonight. They're back in action against the Cavaliers back home on Friday, and that will basically be the Heat are going to be home a lot. They got that. They'll be going to Charlotte on Monday, and then are basically home through Christmas. I think they got like one more stint in Orlando, who's obviously been good this year. But tonight, They got a nice, well-rounded effort and got the victory, even being banged up without Haywood, Bam, and of course, whenever the hell Tyler Hero is going to get back, you're going to need efforts like this to make it work without a couple of your stars.